As you can see here, when you're using a tarp and have it strung out under a load, you're inevitably at some point going to have a blowout. This has happened to me a couple times, generally after a very heavy wind or extreme downpour, because just too much rain had fallen on the tarp at one point, really caused a lot of stress, and then with the heavy winds blowing, it would just cause a rip like this. These generally happen because of a manufacturer defect, because you have ones like this grommet here is inset nicely into the tarp, so there's a lot of meat there to grab onto. When you have that tied and pulled tight, it's going to stay strong. But on this one, I can see there was barely any meat there, so they just installed the grommet too close to that corner, and just enough stress on it caused it to rip out. So obviously in this condition, this isn't going to collect water very well, so we got to get this fixed up. I'm going to show you how we repair this. Here's another example of one that's just hanging on for dear life. You find these grommet repair kits at the hardware store in the same aisle that they sell the tarps in. I would suggest keeping the back of that, which has the instructions along with your stuff. So it comes with a few of these tools and then a number of the actual grommets. The way it works is you start off with the punch, which has a hole in it that allows you to make the hole. And then that end goes up into there. I can get that where I want it. And then take your hammer. That punches a hole into it where you need it. Then you take the top washer, stick it on the top of the hole, and then the bottom part of the grommet in the little holding section. And again, take the hammer. And that installs it. It's a little bit mangled up. Maybe I was a little too heavy-handed with it, but you learn how to do it and get some installed there. But now I got a new grommet there that will work and keeps this tarp going even though it's ripped up. So in addition to the toolkit, I would also grab, they got extra grommets because the toolkit only comes with 10 or 15 of them or something. These are 3/8 of an inch. I believe there was another size too, maybe a 1/4 inch that was a smaller size. So whatever size grommets your tarps use, try to make sure you get the right size kit to go with it. I found having plenty of tarps out here to be absolutely essential. I brought down about 12 or 15 of them, and honestly, I wouldn't have been upset if I brought more. You could always find a use for tarps. I use it for covering up lumber and tools. You've seen collecting rainwater. I have a tarp over the top of the cabin right now until I can put the metal roof on. You've seen in a previous video where I used the tarp to enclose in my little shower structure. So I've found that smaller ones are better for collecting rainwater, because I had used a bigger one, like a 12 by 16, because it just happened to fit in the area where the trees were. And that one, the first time it rained, too much water sat on it and it burst right away. So that's just too big. So 6 by 10, 8 by 10, something like that. That's about the perfect size for collecting rainwater. Definitely keep it under 100 square feet. But then you want to have some of the larger ones for covering up stuff, like a cabin, a structure, or closing in stuff. If you're preparedness minded, I'm telling you, make sure you have plenty of tarps on hand of different sizes, and get one of those grommet kits with extra grommets so you can keep them repaired if needed. That grommet kit can also be used on any kind of fabric, a tent or something like that as well.